Geshmirta matzah. What a funny sounding name. Actually, it comes from a Yiddish word that means to smear. And this is a delicious dish of smearing a wonderful cream cheese mixture over matzah and then baking it. It has its origins in South Africa. And many of the Jews from the Eastern Europe immigrated to South Africa and brought with them their love of the cream cheese mixture. So here we're going to make it today. First thing we need to do is we need to line our pan with foil and cover it with matzah. Now in this case I used a smaller jelly roll pan, so it used 3 sheets of matzah. And yes, I cut the matzah into a nice line and it stayed perfectly. How did I do that? One of the easy ways to do that is to take a piece of matzah on a cutting board and actually press down on the lines. This I started to do already, and yes, it cracked a little there, but I cut on the little dots periodically, and then it comes apart fairly easily. A lot better than if I just tried to go like this and break it. So I've got my matzah, and I've put the pan, covered the pan with foil, and you'll notice I covered the pan with the foil with the dull side out, not the shiny side. The reason you want to use the dull side out is dull absorbs heat. Shiny side reflects heat away from it. So if you have dull side, then the bottom of your matzah and your mixture or your cookies or whatever you're baking will have a nice golden brown bottom. So that's why you will never see shiny stainless steel cookie sheets. And always remember that, and then it'll help you remember which side to use the foil. Always dull side out. Okay, so when you're baking. So here we go. We've got that all then covered. Now I'm going to take my bowl, and I'm going to take 8 ounces of, now you could use regular cream cheese, but I find whipped cream cheese, which is also easier to find for Passover, is a lot easier to mix, and it breaks down more easily, so that's good. I'm going to take that, and I'm going to take 1 egg, crack it, whoop, almost forgot, always crack it into a bowl, that way you know you don't have any blood spots or you don't have a bad egg. Every once in a while, rarely nowadays, but every once in a while you'll get a bad egg. So put the egg in the bowl. Then we're going to take a ½ teaspoon of vanilla extract. And you know, if it comes out, oh, that's more than that. So that even I know that that's too much vanilla extract. I like extra, but that's pushing it. So I'm going to take a ½ teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of sugar, scoop up more than I need, level off. I can use my little angled spatula. I'll show you why we're going to use this later. 2 tablespoons of sugar. And then we're going to use 2 tablespoons of yogurt. Now, if you're smart enough to measure the sugar first, then your measuring spoon's dry to put it into the yogurt. If you measure the yogurt first, then you have to either take out another measuring spoon, or you're going to have to wash it, dry it, and use it again. So think when you're cooking to make your life easier in the kitchen, not harder. So now I'm going to take 2 tablespoons. Some measuring spoon sets, or measuring cup sets actually, come with 1/8 of a cup. 1/8 of a cup is 2 tablespoons, so you could use that. I don't have that in my dairy set. So I'm going to scoop up more than I need. 1. This is Greek yogurt. You could certainly use sour cream if you wanted to. And that's it. Now I'm going to mix it together. At this point, you don't want to use a wire whisk. You couldn't really get it to blend as well as you'd like. Break down the cream cheese a little bit. It's like solids and liquids. I have a hard time mixing. And once I've broken my cream cheese down, and of course you can use your cream cheese at room temperature too, but this is not hard, look. see why I like this whisk a lot as opposed to a balloon whisk where the tines are really close together. Okay, all mixed together. Does not have to be super smooth. It just has to be well combined. Make sure the egg, because your egg is your binding agent, just like in a cheesecake. Now I'm going to take my mixture and I'm going to pour it over my matzah. And then I'm going to use an angled spatula. And you notice I have 3 sizes here. This is actually more for cakes. This is more for smaller areas. So getting into the corner, I can use this. And if you have a young child, let them use that as well. For time's sake, I'm going to use the large one. And this is it. So I'm finished spreading, and don't worry if it goes over the side. That's going to do that when you bake it anyway. But I do want to try to get the corners. And then I'm going to sprinkle it with about 2 tablespoons of cinnamon and sugar. This will go in a 350 oven for 12 to 15 minutes until it's bubbly and golden. You don't want to have it be overcooked. Then we will remove it from the oven, cut it into squares, and serve it. Now, could this be dessert? Yes. Could it be a sweet breakfast food? Yes. Could it be a nash? Yes. It could be all those things. So I'm going to put it into the oven now. Going to put it in the middle third of the oven and time it for 15 minutes. Actually, I'm going to time it for 12, and I'll tell you why in a second. You don't have to. Okay. That's it. I'm using a convection oven. I do not lower my temperature 25 degrees to accommodate a convection oven. I prefer to cook it less time. But newer convection ovens automatically switch your thermostat down 25 degrees. So you need to be aware of that if you have a newer oven. In other words, you set it at 350, it will automatically drop it down to 325. Okay, so let's see, the buzzer's gone off. It's puffed up a little. It looks a little golden, not too bad. I don't want it to be too dark because then it'll be dry. Yep. So now I have it on my cutting board. And I like using a chef's knife because I can cut down, put my hand here, and if you're working with a young child, this is exactly how they should be holding the knife anyway, fingers pointing up to the sky. And I'm just going to cut down, use the leverage of the knife. A little crispy on the bottom, I can hear it. And then you can, I'll do it fast. And then you can cut it in diamonds, you can cut it in squares. And there you have it. Geshmirta matzah. A nice, delicious dessert or snack or breakfast food or all-around nosh. Enjoy your Passover snacking and eat in good health.